Number 8, text number 80. Wars during the ruling of the Tsar Nicholas I and his foreign policy. Nicholas I acted as a guardian against revolution. His offers to suppress revolution on the European continent, trying to follow the trends of his elder brother, the Holy Alliance of the Tsar Alexander I, the one we were studying in our first class of this semester. So Nicholas I was actually following his reforms of his older brother Alexander I, and that earned him the label of the gendarme of Europe. During the reign of the Tsar Alexander I, we have couple wars that we have to remember. The Russian-Turkish War of 1828 and 1829. I think that being a Russian Orthodox, Nicholas I, he was thinking to help the Greeks since they were Orthodox as well. And in that time, in 19th century, in 1828 to 1829, Greeks were under the Turks' influence. So this war is about liberation of Greeks from Turks. The way Greeks were treated erased the Europeans to gather the army and go against Ottoman Empire, against the Turks. England, France, and Russia sent armies to help Greeks. Turkish fleet was defeated during the Battle of Navarino. Russian army crossed Dunay River and went deep into Balkans to conquer Adrianople. Dunay starts in Germany and ends in Black Sea, which showing the importance of the Black Sea fleet port. Big cities on the bank of the river Vienna in Austria, Bratislava, Slovakia, Budapest in Hungary, and Belgrade in Serbia. In 1829, in Adrianople, Russia and Ottoman Empire signed the peace treaty of Adrianople to conclude the Russian-Turkish War of 1828 and 1829 between Russia and Ottoman Empire. Russia expanded its border, access to Dunay River and western banks of Black Sea, and Ottoman Empire also gave Russia access to the mouth of the Dunay, the fortress in Georgia, and access through the two narrow straits in northwestern Turkey, the Bosporus and the Dardanelles, that connect the Sea of Marmara with the Black Sea on one side and Aegina, arm of the Mediterranean Sea, on the other. In St. Petersburg, Moscow Triumphal Gate, Moskovskaya Triumfalная Arka, commemorate the Russia's victory in the Russian-Turkish War of 1828 and 1829. So in the book, this war called the First Turkish War. Now we're going to be talking about the Second Turkish War, which called the Crimean War of 1854. 20 years passed after the Russian-Turkish War, the First Turkish War. European countries were afraid the comeback of the great Russian power and conquering more countries. So that was kind of, I think, the first reason, the reason number one of why the war actually started, is because the Europe was afraid that the Russia might conquer more land to expand its territories. In 1853, Crimean War started between the Russian Empire on one side and an alliance of the British Empire, France, and Ottoman Empire, and the Kingdom of Sardinia on the other side. So this is the reason number two for the war to begin, was a conflict over the Holy Land. It was something that there is a theory about that. Russian Navy under the commander of Nakhimov used Black Sea to meet with Turks. At Sinope, the fight started. Turkish Navy were defeated by Admiral Nakhimov. The victory scared the Europe, after which England and France made the decision to take the Black Sea Fleet from Russia. September 1854, near Sevastopol, French, English, and Turkish army had a battle. The Battle of the Alma, 20th September 1854, which is usually considered the first battle of the Crimean War of 1853-1856, took place just south of the river Alma in the Crimea. An Anglo-French force under General Arnaud and Lord Raglan defeated General Menshikov's army, Russian army, which lost around 6,000 troops. The Russian army was numerically inferior to the combined Anglo-French army. They occupied the natural defensive positions. As the result, Sevastopol became one of the enemies. The Tsar ordered to protect the city of Sevastopol to the Navy soldiers and officers. Admiral Nakhimov, Admiral Kornilov, and Istomin in order to blockade the mouth of the harbor of the Sevastopol and to stop the entrance to the Sevastopol, generals and engineers decided to sink or scuttling their ships to protect it, and the deficiency of fortifications on the land side was made good before the Allies could take advantage of it. All military ammunition from the ships placed on the grounds of the harbor to be prepared for the big defense. The construction of defense wall of Sevastopol under the leadership and engineered plan of Totleben lasted days and nights. Not only soldiers and navy officers were carrying sand, but also women and children were bringing soil and sand for the protection of the harbor. Siege of Sevastopol in 1854-1855. It was difficult to bring supplies to Sevastopol without the railroad. Siege lasted 11 months. Defense wall was barely holding up. The last to survive was the Malachov place, which was just a great tower of stone where Nakhimov and Istomin were killed. In almost each corner of this Malachov wall was icon with lots of burning candles. To these icons, dead soldiers or wounded soldiers were brought who were killed and wounded during the night siege. Numerous deaths of the Russian soldiers and officers was 80,000 died. With the fall of the Malachov wall, it was the end of the siege. All night, the Russians were filling over the bridges to the north side, and on the 9th of September, the victors took possessions of the empty and burning prize. By morning of 28th of August, Russian forces abandoned the southern side of the Sevastopol, and later in 1855, the Russian army defeated the Turks and took over the fortress Kars, which became part of the Russia for a short period. During the peace agreement in Paris, Russia got back Sevastopol in exchange to cars, but lost the right to have military fleet on the Black Sea. The short stories of Lev Tolstoy, who was presented at the siege, give a graphic picture.